Good afternoon, everybody. My name's John Politis. I'm an electrical engineer with Schaedler Yesco. So today, for the next 15 minutes or so, I'd like to talk to you about level 2 EV charging. So let's look at level 2 specifically in some of the markets that we're getting into. As you know, the automotive industry is heavily into this. This is probably my fourth time in the last 10 years of being into electric vehicle charging. I think it's probably here to stay for a few more years. But you can see what we're starting to get into application-wise is with buses, fleets, semi-trucks, campus-type environments, work trucks, and things of that nature. So a lot of different application types or different markets out there getting into it. You can see the specific industry segments that we have. You know, anywhere from airports, hospitals, schools, even down into the residential area with level 1, level 2, and I'll talk about the differences here shortly. But any commercial industrial facility that's interested in either charging for employees or charging through the public, okay? So there are a lot of different customer types and user types out there available. So let's talk about the plugs. Over here you'll see DC fast charger, and they use the CCS plug. It's a bigger plug. It has the big DC plus minus power terminals underneath on the bottom, and then all the control piece of it is on the top. The CHAdeMO plug was out a couple years ago. That's pretty much being all phased away from the chargers. And now the other one we have that's popular is a J1772. That is a universal standard through North America. All the automotive industry uses that, except for Tesla vehicles. Tesla has their own connector, which on the right, they have an adapter usually to go over to J1772. They have their own called NACS, which is now starting to become popular here in North America, but I don't expect that to be out maybe in another 2 years or so for that to come into play. So it's good to understand the ports between level 1, 2, and 3. So let's a little bit about level 2 and level 3 charging. So level 2 is an AC charger. So we take AC power, 208, 220 from a 60 amp or 50 amp breaker, and we basically just pass that through the J1772 connector, all right? And it's a small package, and it's basically an AC power conversion that goes through out to the vehicle. So the inverter portion of it is in the car itself. That inverts the AC over to DC and eventually connected to the battery. So again, that's a smaller footprint. Then you get into the larger DC, those start to be bigger units, freestanding units. They're more expensive. They actually get into 6 figures real quick. But that's where you get into DC fast charging, and I'll talk about the times here in a second. So a lot of times what we try to explain to folks is level 1 versus level 2 versus level 3. So level 1 is a 120 volt AC coming right out of the wall, either through your garage or any plug that you might have. The big issue with this is that it takes about up to 3 days to do a full charge on a vehicle. So it's a long time to charge with a level 1. That comes with every electric vehicle. All right, so every manufacturer should provide that product to you. The next step is a level 2. That is our sweet spot. That's where a lot of folks are focused on. And in comparison, that up to 4 or 5 hours will get you full charge. 220 volt, as I mentioned before, single phase through a 60 amp breaker. And then we get into our bigger units, our DC fast charger, level 3s. Again, that's a 480 volt 3-phase input. And you do charging up to full in about an hour, okay, about 60 minutes and under, all right? So that's sort of the chart that positions each level 1, level 2, and level 3. We have a lot of applications like dealerships, hospitals, schools that maybe want a combination of level 2s and level 3s, okay? So that's sort of what we can help out there. This gives a general idea of the timing, again, level 1, level 2, and level 3. You can see, based on the battery size, the different times that you have with each one of those levels of charging. So again, the bigger the charger you have, the more the less time you have to get to full charge. So one of the solutions we have is Siemens. Siemens is again over the wall here. They have pretty much a full line of AC and DC level 2, level 3 chargers, all the way from your residential commercial units and through your DC units up to some of the high power DC, where you're looking maybe for fleets and buses and things like that. And along with that, they have the software to support if you want to do billing or any revenue generation. So let's focus a little bit more on theirs. They have a 40 amp and a 48 amp for residential. And then they get into commercial, either their Buy America, their blue unit is all 48 amps. Okay, so those are the two. And again, over here, we do have samples of both of those chargers if you want to get a live visit there. With that, they have hardware as far as the posts, the pedestals, the cable retraction, the software, the apps, all that stuff comes with the charging units. And again, we can show that to you. Leviton also on this other side of the wall has a 48 amp unit, level 2. They have a sample there. We definitely can provide those units as well for residential and commercial applications. Breeze EV is another manufacturer we have that's at the show today. There's also a special, I think in the special guide. Their level 2 charger is a 48 amp unit. And again, that's good for any residential, light commercial application, okay? Also to note, we have ChargePoint. You probably see a lot of ChargePoints out there. So we do, as Shaler Yesco, have ChargePoint available. Sometimes I'm quoting multiple manufacturers, but we can also provide, if you're established with ChargePoint, you want ChargePoint, we can provide that unit as well, both AC and DC. Accessories. A lot of times we definitely get pulled into different cable retractions, wall mount cable retractions, signage, cable replacements, and things of that nature. So we have a company that helps us provide sort of the OEM type accessories and components with these chargers. A lot of dealerships like the mobile cart idea, so they can put a level 2 AC charger on that cart and wheel it around through the service department and sales department. They can share that charger if they need any charging needs. So the whole mobile piece of it is really starting to be popular with some of the mounting pieces. So if you're a contractor, you get into EV charging turnkey solutions. This is the scope of work. So National Electric Code, sometimes forget the numbers, what is that? 625 section of the National Electric Code has electric vehicle service equipment. So that's where you would need to focus on your electrical pieces, your power wiring rules, your Cat 5, Cat 6 low voltage rules if you're doing Ethernet. So you can see the electrical scope is on the power side and the low voltage or IT side. Then you can get into the other things that you need, possibly trenching, ripping and tearing your parking lot, some of that construction thing and things of that nature. It's always good when you're looking at chargers or getting into EV charging that you look and plan for the future. There are a lot of folks looking at a dedicated sub-panel or a load center for maybe 4 chargers now, another 10 later, because you're just not knowing the usage that's going to be needed later on. So it's always good to think about what your capacity needs are going to be in the future for EV charging, especially when your trench is open and ready to go. So for us, we look at the turnkey solutions in basically these couple different steps, from scope development to the incentive piece of it, either federal or state. We can turn you on to what's going on in Pennsylvania with incentives, and then also on the federal side, or tax. There's also tax breaks. So we have websites that we can send you there. Obviously, we're on the materials supply only. We let the install happen through our electrical contractor partners. And then from there, we help with the own and operate of these chargers. Basically how you're going to do some of the software pieces and get that all set up. So we can help coordinate all these different efforts, in this whole turnkey solution. regardless of level 2, level 3 EV charging. So this is a good website if you want to follow the Department of Energy, Alternative Fuels, and look at their vehicles, electricity. There's good basic information on vehicles, good information on charging stations. There's the site that shows the incentives. They have a good link on the Pennsylvania and neighboring states' incentives, along with what's going on with the federal side on the incentive side. We have a lot of our information through our Charger Solution website. So if you pop on that, and if you get a copy of this, these blue links will be active for you. You can just go ahead and click on those, and then it'll take you right to those websites. But there's good install videos, operation videos, all the different manufacturers, and then good technical resource information for you on charging level 2 and level 3.